Bay.
And then they drafted
Shane Ray.
no, the other guy after him.
Oh, Nick Chubb.
Yep.
Who was rookie of the year pretty much on defense, and then tore his ACL this year. How sad. But him and Vaughn will be back next year. But yeah, Shaquille Barrett, 19.5 sacks. Beat Chandler Jones.
Oh, I'm sorry. He went to Nebraska and then transferred.
Who went to Nebraska and transferred?
Shaquille
Barrett went to Nebraska first and then transferred?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right because they didn't play defense in Nebraska like that. But, yeah, Shaquille Barrett, 19.5 sacks, edged out.
He probably knows my boy then.
He probably
played at Nebraska.
He probably does. By the way, I think Indiana plays their bowl game against Tennessee today. Did they already play?
I don't know.
I think they did. Shout out to Indiana. But anyway, yeah, Shaquille Barrett, 19.5 sacks. He's going to get a huge payday, and some stupid team is going to pay him way too much money, and he's not going to produce as much. He probably should just stay put in Tampa Bay, though. Him and Jason Pierre-Paul. Jason Pierre-Paul, we really got to give him like a full hand clap. Pardon the pun.
No, that was definitely a pun.
Because with like 8 fingers, he still is like a dominant player. And damn near broke his fucking spine this year in a car accident. And I think still almost had 10 sacks. Like, shout out to Jason Pierre-Paul. Like, put some respect on his name. And Shaquille Barrett had 19.5 in a contract year. Whoo, boy. Pay that man.
Damn, JPP had 8.5 in 12 games. No, I'm sorry.
And definitely wasn't fully healthy.
I'm sorry. He had 8.5 in 10 games.
8.5 sacks in 10 games. And Shaquille Barrett had 19.5. And they had Devin White.
Crazy.
And they had Devin White at linebacker who freaking ran a fumble back like 70 yards. He won
December Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
But yeah, another Tampa Bay news. Jameis Winston, first member of the 30 and 30 club.
This man.
30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
He threw 33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions this year.
You got to take your attention on that.
5,109 passing yards. This man.
Damn, he joined the 5,000 club?
Yup.
He might be the sorriest dude in there. Him and Stafford.
He really is. But
him and Stafford.
But you know what? I love his heart.
Damn. Is Jameis Winston the black Matt Stafford?
No, he's the black Brett Favre, but nowhere near as good.
Nah, he might be the black Matt Stafford.
No, he's like Brett Favre.
Think about it. Big,
close.
Elite receivers. Throw a lot of picks.
No, but Stafford was never as good as him and didn't win a national title in college.
But I'm talking about in the
they
pros.
Beat the shit out of Hawaii.
In the pros.
Yeah, but you got to go back and look at Jameis. You got to put some respect on Jameis' college career.
I guess.
He won a touchdown. He won a national championship as a true freshman. As a true freshman.
To be continued.
He won a national title. He can play, just not very good.
If you come on this podcast a year from now and you're like, you know what? You were right. He is the black Matt Stafford.
You know what's funny?
I'm going to give it a drop.
When he ends up being the Raiders starting quarterback next year, you won't be saying that shit.
Jameis won't be.
I like how serious you got because you know it can happen. It could happen.
I think Matt Stafford is more likely.
It could happen. How could it not happen? He threw for 5,100 yards. He had 2 1,000-yard receivers. And didn't throw to O.J. Howard.
It won't happen.
It could happen.
It won't happen. He's not even like a real... He's not a West Coast guy. He's not a West Coast quarterback.
Doesn't matter. What does that mean? He throws in Florida. It's hot, and it's Florida.
But he's not a West Coast style of quarterback.
It doesn't snow on the West Coast like that.
He's like a...
He's going to Vegas, bro.
He's a gunslinger.
Exactly. Everything Derek Carr isn't.
Yeah, but that's not Gruden's type. I would see...
Josh Freeman was a gunslinger.
Nah.
He got conservative. He got conservative. Yeah,
not like that.
It could happen. It could happen. I'm just saying it could happen. It could happen. But anyway.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think that's crazy.
The greatest, worst season of all time. Shout out to Jameis Winston. Put that ball in the Hall of Fame somewhere.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Him eating his fingers and saying, eat a W. Like,
I think that pretty much just sums out the NFC South. Like, literally. As a conference. Like, that's just a euphemism for the entire division.
33 touchdowns. Great. 30 interceptions. God awful. 5,100 passing yards. Okay, who's on drugs?
That's how all them Atlanta Cats and Saints dudes be having like 2 and 3 picks, like, quietly.
in the game.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, yeah, you played Jameis Winston.
Shout out to Jameis Winston.
You played Jameis Winston and Kyle Allen.
Jameis Winston
twice
threw a pick 6.
You should definitely have more. If you're a DB for Atlanta or New Orleans,
you should have 5 picks a year.
Yeah, and you don't have a pick.
Should.
If you don't have a pick, you're trash. I'm sorry.
If you don't have a pick,
and you get Matt Ryan too. Yeah, if you don't,
you should get picks in practice.
Yeah, just picks for days,
like over the middle. But like, shout out, brother Austin Hooper had a career year, a tight end for Atlanta. But yeah, but Jameis Winston threw a pick 6 to end that game in overtime against the Falcons. Deion Jones was the one who picked it off and ran into the house. I just want to say the Raiders passed on Deion Jones and
yeah, it was funny because when you tagged me in the highlight, I was like, "Is this the same highlight?" And I was like, "Wait, no, it's the opposite now." I was like,
wait, Devin White?
They're just throwing picks to each other.
Yep. Devin White.
I was so bad.
Devin White and Deion Jones both.
I was like, "This is the NFC South in 2 clips."
LSU linebackers, ungodly speed, and the Raiders passed on both of them. Imagine if those two played on the same.
All right, we're bullshitting. Next up,
I'm upset.
So, was pretty much found out that the Pats didn't do any malice versus the Bengals.
No malice. Shout out to Drake.
I mean, realistically, what were you even going to prove? Like, how were you going to find evidence other than he said, she said, and we caught him red-handed? Like,
the Patriots.
Do you really need a further investigation
the Patriots
than that?
Are that dude who, like, his girl catches him, like, putting his clothes back on with a chick in the room, and she accused him of cheating.
No, she was giving me a prostate exam.
No. She was getting in the shower because she just came from the gym and she wanted to like get cleaned up because she was gonna go get a massage afterwards, or we were gonna go get a massage afterwards, like on some wild shit like that.
Nah, that was the worst metaphor.
That's essentially what the Patriots did. Their owner literally got caught getting a massage in the middle of a sting, and it just brushed under the rug. And he got caught cheating, technically.
Richie Incognito got a 2-year deal from the Raiders. He can earn, I think, up to $6 million per year.
Skip.
You got to take her tangent on that?
Nope, I'm just going to skip it because I don't care. And I knew it was going to happen. The Raiders had no other choice. People need each other.
That's honestly my take on it, just because, like, when you really look at the guard position, like, there's not a lot of top end players. It's like you either have
Nelson's in the draft.
You either have the best guard or you just have a guy.
One. Yeah,
like that's pretty much the guard position in the NFL. So
yeah,
I get it. You get it for cheap. He was relatively quiet. He behaved this year, so I mean, I get it. He's a Gruden guy. Next up, Jacoby Brissett. The GM was kind of like saying that he's not going to commit to Jacoby Brissett. He still needs to be evaluated as a number 1 quarterback, considering he started all of last year and half a season 2 years ago. You got to take her tangent on Brissett.
I think he's a starting quarterback in this league.
So he's Brian Hoyer.
No. I think he's actually like Kirk Cousins, but better.
You think he's better than Kirk Cousins?
I think he's better than Kirk Cousins. I think if you put him on the Buccaneers, tell me they're not an 11-win team. He doesn't turn the ball over. He makes great decisions with the ball.
They were a playoff team until the last 4 or 5 weeks, and they started playing their division, getting their ass kicked.
He's tough. That offensive line has done him no favors.
I think the other thing was
he puts in work. I think he would be a great player if you put him in the Patriots offense. If you put him,
the other thing was the Colts couldn't stop the run.
He could save somebody's season. Yeah, exactly.
Colts couldn't stop the run.
Exactly.
I think they got exposed for that. I mean, they've been that forever, but
yeah, because they got defensive ends playing D tackle. Shout out to Marcus Hunt. He's playing D tackle, and he was a defensive end coming out of SMU for the Bengals. He was a defensive end, and they got him 6'8", 277, freakishly strong, running a 4.6 out of Estonia, playing defensive tackle.
Phillip Rivers says he wants to keep playing. Says he open to leaving the Chargers. You got to take her attention on that.
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett would be great in the Chargers offense because I'm not.
They already got Tyrod though.
Yeah, Tyrod. See, Tyrod could play too. That's what I'm saying. But
I would rather have Brissett than Tyrod, honestly.
Yeah, because he's a better pocket passer.
I feel like he just has more of a.
But Tyrod will
more of a upside.
Tyrod will
make you a 9-17.
Tyrod will win games for you by not losing games for you.
Yeah, he'll make a third.
But he's been coached to be that his whole career. He wasn't a gunslinger at Virginia Tech. He's always just been taught to be a conservative game manager, and there's nothing wrong with that. And he's also freakishly fast. So I don't see anything wrong with him being the bridge to a franchise quarterback.
All right, AP is finished the season with more rushing yards than Todd Gurley. You got to take our tangent on that.
898, and I think he has more rushing touchdowns than Marcus Allen.
Yeah, he said he passed somebody this year.
Darius Guice is the future of that team, but I think you keep him. I think especially if you're Ron Rivera and knowing Guice's injury history, you say, you know what, we're going to lean on these two running backs, lean on the receivers we have, and that's how we're going to help this young quarterback. That's what they should. The Redskins should really keep Adrian Peterson, and Adrian Peterson is the greatest running back of this era. And honestly, I'd say he could be the greatest running back of the '90s too. Adrian Peterson is better than Emmitt Smith. I'll take that. You can put it on my gravestone. I don't care. There's a lot of running backs better than Emmitt Smith. He just happens to be the all-time leading rusher. But you're not going to tell me man to man Emmitt Smith is a better running back than Adrian Peterson. There's not many cats at Adrian Peterson's age who, if only for not a beef with a stupid head coach who's now fired because he's only good in the Arena League, if he had been the starter the whole year and they brought Darius Guice back slowly, Adrian Peterson have like 1,200 yards rushing this year, bro.
I don't know about that. They had no receivers.
He has 898 rushing yards. And
bro, Paul Richardson was their number one receiver.
He been hurt. No, actually, Terry McLaurin was their number one receiver the second round.
Yeah, after like down the season, but entering the year,
his first
the year, Paul Richardson was the number one receiver.
Yeah, like, and Jay Gruden.
They had no receivers.
Jay Gruden didn't even want to play Adrian Peterson. He had him deactivated for like 4 games. It pissed off all the veterans. They better hope Trent Williams don't come back. Because that's a nice building block.
All right. We got a touchdown or turnover to close out the show. First up, you got Alvin Kamara having more rushing yards than Dalvin Cook. Is that a touchdown or a turnover for the Saints?
Alvin Kamara having more... Wait, say it again?
If Alvin Kamara has more rushing yards than Dalvin Cook, is that a touchdown or a turnover for the Saints?
That's a turnover for the Saints. Because if you can't pass on this Minnesota team, who can you pass on? Like, Minnesota has to run the ball. New Orleans has to pass the ball.
In the wild card game rematch?
Yeah. So it's like...
From 2 years ago, the miracle in
Minnesota, yeah. So it's like, if you can't pass... Like, yeah, you're going to... Like, Michael Thomas is going to get his yards, but, like, Alvin Kamara has to run the ball. Who else is going to run the ball for New Orleans?
All right, next up, you got J.J. Watt making his return, expected to play versus the Bills. Is that a touchdown or a turnover for the Texans?
It should be a touchdown, but honestly, if you look...
It's probably a turnover.
If you look at years past, like, he hasn't elevated their defense.
I'm not there with you. I'm not there with you, but all I'm going to say is we've already seen hurt J.J. Watt make his comeback in the playoffs. Like, we've seen this already, and J.J. Watt's on the... I'm pretty sure he's like 31?
Yeah.
Something like that. So he's about a year away from being Jared Allen in Minnesota. So
no, he's better than Jared Allen.
I don't know.
As far as he's really...
People forget how great Jared Allen was.
No, Jared Allen's great, but really, J.J. Watt's a big-ass D tackle with stupid athleticism.
That was Jared Allen.
No, Jared Allen was a true defensive end who could win.
Because he played in a 4-3 defense.
Yeah, but he was strong enough to bump inside, but he was really a true defensive end. Like, J.J. Watt could have been a D tackle at Wisconsin, but they had a bunch of other people, so it's like he's just a big, strong, athletic mofo. But come on, let's give J.J. Watt his props.
All right. Speaking of which, Quan Alexander is also expected to make a return from IR. Is that a touchdown or a turnover for the Niners?
That's definitely a touchdown. They've had way too many injuries, and